and welcome back to the Unfiltered Sports Weekly. I'm the Beebs.
My name is Kev.
St. Joe and the Hizzy.
I don't know about you guys, but I just finished a lively competition at the dinner table. Are any of you familiar with the game Yahtzee?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I won one and lost one.
I think the game Yahtzee was developed to break families apart.
Arguments.
I thought that was
least.
I thought that might have been Monopoly.
Or Phase 10.
Arguments for
Phase
sure.
10.
Phase 10. Yep, that's one. Yep.
Phase 10 makes me... I won't play it anymore. I get fighting mad. You know, I'll be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
No.
Arguments for sure. Did you?
And then my wife is like, don't speak like that to the children.
Did you hear about Uno?
Yeah.
Did you hear Uno has revised or actually came up with the rule that you do not have to say Uno when you hold one card? It is a house rule.
All right. You brought up Uno, okay? And that's kind of a sport. They have championships. So
Yeah, sure.
Here's my question. Can you end the game on a wild card?
I always do.
Hell yeah. I keep a draw 4 and everybody
Yeah.
thinks that I'll be like Uno
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, ooh,
color
I'm
does he
changing
got?
I'm changing the color. And I'm like, it don't matter.
Yeah, you could end the wild card. Why not?
Dude,
a
that's my
great play.
strategy.
I think
I
that's a
don't.
great play.
I can't
hold on
remember.
to 'em.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
can't remember a hand where like my last 4 cards, 3 of them are wilds. You know, and I'm just like, if I get down, you better make me pick, or you better use your reverse or skip
Yeah.
me.
See, I always like to hold on to a 0 or something like that. So if you get it in your hand, and it doesn't matter anyway because it's no points.
I fully believe in ruthless Uno playing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I fully believe,
Mhm.
and well, it's not win or you lose. It's how you play the game. No, it's not. It's I'm going. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's because I had 3 sisters, and I like to torment people. But I fully believe in ruthlessness in Uno. Like people would like not play with me anymore. They're like, "You're mean," and I'd be like, "You know what? If get out the game, it's not made for women."
Yeah, my
I've met some pretty good Uno players who are women.
yeah.
Ruthless.
My mother-in-law would be convinced that no matter where she sits, the cards are against her. It's the devil.
Well, I can tell you that I have a daughter who's 8 years old, and she loves playing draw 2s on dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get that one player that's in the group that you just and you know what I love is the person sitting next to you right before they play a draw 2 or draw 4, they're like, "Sorry." No, you're not. No, you're not.
Nope.
You know that guy, they're like, "Sorry, I hate to do this." No, you don't, or you wouldn't have done it.
Nope.
Don't bring me your fake sorriness, you motherfucker.
We're not playing sorry.
Part of the game. Yep.
It is part of the game.
Yep.
And if you can't take it, then go fucking play, fucking Parcheesi.
That's
or
right.
Candyland or Shoots and
that's a
Ladders or
good
some
game,
shit
too.
like
I've
that.
never played Parcheesi. Is it any fun?
It's
Yeah,
all
that's a good
right.
game.
Yeah. It was like the reason I learned how to play it is because my grandmother liked to play it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and you're like, if you wanted to play something, then you had to figure it out. It's kind of like backgammon, and so just by sheer watching, that's the reason I know how to play bridge. It's because these women, these old women, would sit around on like a Tuesday in the clubhouse of their retirement community and just ruthless. It should be betting, and it's just like the villages down there, except for minus all the STDs, but
Wow. Yikes.
you didn't know that the villages are the STD capital of the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that?
It's kind of like Nocatee is the swingers capital of the world.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100%. 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of upside down pineapples up in Nocatee.
Yes, it's true.
Hey, I got a question for you guys real quick.
Yeah. What's up?
All right. So I want you to think about this question before you answer, all right?
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Beebs, are you ready? Now,
I always pause when you ask me that question, okay?
All right.
I know you too well.
and don't everybody answer at once, all right?
Okay.
Have you guys ever looked at a vacuum and thought that it was a cucumber, but then 7 + 1 is 5, and then the sun turned pink, and then thought, man, I'm hungry?
No.
Okay.
Yesterday, actually.
That's it. I just thought that was funny. I saw it the other day. I thought it was funny. That's not what I want to tell you here. This is what I want to tell you. So, I got a text message last night from somebody who will remain nameless, but both of you know.
Okay.
Okay. So I got a text message from last night, and this text message just said, "How are you feeling?" Okay. So, and I was appreciative of the text, but I replied, I said, you didn't hear? And this person's like, oh my God, what? And I said, they called in hospice 2 days ago. Like that. And she's like, this person's like, that's not funny, And so anyhow, I start chuckling, and soon to be world famous wife hears me chuckling. And so she's like, what are you chuckling at? I'm like, you're going to get mad at me, And then she's like, what? And I'm like, well, I'm texting back and forth with this person. And I told them that they asked me how I was feeling. And I said that they were calling in hospice 2 days ago. And she goes, that's not funny. I said, yes, it's funny. She goes, no, that's not funny. I said, why is it not funny? And she goes, because then I wouldn't have a ride to work.
Oh, man. Brutal.
Wow.
That is brutal.
Yeah.
All right, well, so I have a spicy segment to start with. My favorite thing I saw this week. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
This better be good.
This is good. You guys will be all about this. In fact, I think, and I sent this to myself last week, and I saw somebody resent it today to our group text message. So we're doing this, or we're doing it right now, okay? Nick Saban.
Oh, yep.
Says the way Alabama players acted after losing to Michigan in the college football playoff certainly contributed to his retirement. Quote, I was really disappointed in the way that the players acted after the game. You got to win with class. You got to lose with class. And then showing your ass and being frustrated and throwing helmets and doing that stuff. I thought we could have had a hell of a team next year, and then maybe 70 or 80% of the players you talk to, all they want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring, and how much are you going to pay me? So I'm saying to myself, maybe this doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
Gents?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yep. I think that's true. I think that's probably part of the reason that it led to his retirement.
I think the youth of America is a bunch of entitled little bitches. I can't put it another way. That's what they're acting like. Pay me. This is why I was so against the NIL, and because, look, let's just say you're going to be a doctor, right? Okay? And you have to go to college to be a professional, correct?
Yes.
Do they fucking pay you in college to be a doctor? Doctor money?
No.
No, they don't. You have to fucking earn it.
Yes, and you have to wait.
And they're coming in entitled and earning it. The only people I don't feel sorry for are the 2023 Florida State Seminole team because they went undefeated.
So I have a counter for you, Keb.
Okay.
That those doctors earning millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for the school they're attending while they're, getting ready to go into their profession.
Maybe.
Oh,
No.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah, but okay. Did you ever hear Dan Marino bitch?
I don't care.
How about the savior Sam Bradford? Ever hear him bitch about it?
He actually, I'm sure he did. But here's the thing is, how much money does For instance, the University of Florida Gators make off of the name, image, and likeness of their players before NIL. How much did they make?
A lot.
Yeah, how much?
You know who had a problem with it?
If the answer is hundreds of millions of dollars, and they could get injured and never play that sport again while they're playing for the university, it seems fair to me.
Okay. Out of your mouth before, have we ever heard once you introduce money into something, things change? Have we ever heard that come out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say it wasn't or that it wasn't fair. I said
so because we've introduced the NIL, arguably the best coach in the history of college football, arguably, quits.
Well,
because of it.
I mean, since NIL has entered, when did NIL start?
I don't know, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
Has he won a national title since it started?
No, but he's in the mix every year.
Sure. But he's not been the number one coach since NIL started.
Okay, so you're saying that Nick Saban can't be in the argument of best coach ever. The man
that's
has
not what I said.
7 national titles.
What is it about you two? You put words in my mouth? No, he was the best coach of the era prior to NIL, which was 2 or 3 years ago. During the NIL era, he was not the best.
Okay, so who's the best coach in the NIL era? It's got to be Kirby Smart then.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Jim Harbaugh, maybe because he was there.
No,
but in every one of those playoffs, Nick Saban was there.
That's fine. But who did he lose to every time?
Well, that doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter if he loses to him.
I'm saying that makes Kirby Smart the better coach in the NIL era.
Yeah, but you can't look at a 3-year period. You have to look at a career.
Sure. Over his career, Nick Saban
because over a career, Kirby Smart can't hold Nick Saban's job.
But once you introduce NIL money into the picture, your dudes who are the best pre-NIL have to learn how to recoach now. They have to learn how to be an agent now. They have to learn how to be a different style of recruiter. Now I have to talk to all the people who are going to pay these guys money that I didn't have to talk to before. Make sure these players are okay with, is this enough money? Now you're negotiating like you are with professionals. That's not something you had to do.
That's not true.
And that's not something you should have to do, not in college athletics.
And that's not true.
It is now.
That's 100% not true. You don't think the booster clubs and everything like that weren't paying those college kids money before NIL?
I know for a fact they were. I know Emmitt Smith for a fact got paid.
You don't think
not every player was.
You don't think
not every player's paid now.
Look at Ohio State. Ohio State got sanctioned and got players suspended because of things like that. Look at Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor got suspended because
you're telling me you think the type of money that's getting thrown at people now was being thrown at people, everybody who was going to start on your team. That type of money was being thrown around back then.
Reggie Bush lost a Heisman because of it.
Yep.
Sure, he got paid. He got paid what they know is $250,000. Do you think Reggie Bush, his Heisman seasons in NIL era, would have made $250,000 and given a house? Do you think that's what his top would have been?
No,
but that's what you think.
He also played 15 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah, 15 years ago. 15 years ago, gas cost $1 a gallon. Okay.
It's not millions of dollars. It's not millions and millions of dollars like it is now. But yes, did it happen? Absolutely, it happened.
Sure, they got paid, but they didn't get paid commensurate what they're getting paid now. No way.
Sure. No way. I mean, but it has to go with the times.
Dude, you go and recruit an offensive lineman back then. You think they asked for $2 million or $1 million?
Well, no, because
but your offensive linemen now are getting that. Some of them, the best ones.
Sure, but I mean, if they went and they said, "Hey, can you put my mom up and pay for my mom and do everything like that and take care of her?" Do you think they did it?
You're telling me pre-NIL?
Absolutely, 100%.
80%
of the players on your team, 80% of the
80% aren't getting paid now. I think it was like 43%. 80% is not getting paid now because you're not paying the punter. You're not paying the you might pay a place kicker.
From Nick Saban himself, he said 70 to 80% of the players said, "Am I going to play because I'm going to transfer to someone who's going to pay me?" 70 to 80%. That's the quote. It was obviously not like that prior to NIL.
I don't think that that's correct. That number is 70-80% is correct. I mean, let's take a top three draft choice. Let's take Marvin Harrison Jr. Right, the number of $20 million a year was thrown around that he was going to get from NIL money. Do you think that number is correct?
No, I don't think that number is correct.
Because if that's the case, he wouldn't come out of Ohio State and go into the draft. Because if he's going to be a number
that
three,
has nothing to do with what I'm talking about with Nick Saban.
It absolutely has things to do with what you're talking about, Nick Saban. Because you're talking about NIL money.
Yeah, I am talking about NIL money, but I'm talking about Nick Saban is telling you that 70 to 80% of the team he recruited and paid are telling him they're gonna transfer unless he pays the money, or if they're gonna play. How much are you gonna pay me? How much are you gonna play me? That's what they want to know, because if they can make money somewhere else, if they transfer, they're going. Right?
And I find it very, very idiotic for somebody to think that's good for college football.
Oh, I don't think it's good for college football. It's good for the players.
Well, it'll come up this year to see what happens with Alabama and their recruiting. I mean, the truth will be in their
they
class.
Lost a bunch of people. Florida State paid a bunch of Alabama players to come play for Florida State. But I'm not saying it's better for college football as a whole.
Wait. How do you know that Florida State paid a lot of players from Alabama to come play for them?
Because they signed like 5 starters from Alabama after Saban left.
Well, people transferred. They didn't sign them.
They paid them money and they transferred.
Well, how do you know that? Where do you know that they paid them?
How much did they pay him?
I don't know. I don't know if that's even.
So you can't.
Okay, so you're telling me that.
But you can't
starters
say that,
from
Brent.
Alabama.
You can't say that. You can't say they paid them without knowing that they paid them.
Surely they paid them.
Well, how do you know that?
They were starting for Alabama.
No, they went through the transfer. They went through the transfer.
Okay, but if you look at it this way, though, if let's just say that they didn't pay him, going to Florida State is not out of the question. They were undefeated.
Sure.
Okay, they were undefeated, and you're bringing in a coach that not a lot of people in the SEC know. Those guys went to play for Nick Saban, and they're going to transfer to another program which was undefeated and a proven head coach. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
But the last time I checked, there's no college football player that's getting paid.
So you're telling me you don't think what?
No college football player gets paid to play football.
They get NIL money.
Sure.
Where's the NIL
No.
money
That's not. But that's not what you said. You said 5 college football players got paid. No,
you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't even act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
you know what I'm saying when I say.
But you said they got paid to come to Florida State.
NIL money. They get paid. Where does the NIL money come from, do you think?
It comes from the boosters. It doesn't come from the university, which is what St. Joe's saying. You don't. The university is not paying anybody outside of giving them a full ride, and that means scholarship to play football. Now, because I'll tell you this, the way it works in Gainesville is that the actual university, because it's a state school, works this way in Tallahassee and works this way in Orlando. Because they're state schools, they have an athletic association, which is a separate entity from the university that actually handles the athletic association. That's actually who heads that up is the athletic director. Now, that is an entity under the University of Florida, but that's how it works in Gainesville and in Tallahassee.
Okay, so now that we've set all that aside, a booster who is from or is an alumni or is a supporter of that school is paying these guys. So, okay, fine. Technically, the school itself is not paying them. Somebody who supports the school is paying them. Who arranges that? Do you think the school might arrange that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think the school. I don't think the school arranges it. I think the athletic association arranges it.
The school
Who's connected to the AD. You just said it yourself. The AD is in the athletic association.
Who does not work
the AD represents
who does not work for the university, works for the athletic association.
Okay.
Right. Because if they do that, they'll get violations and then they'll get suspended and they'll get in trouble. They'll
Which
break
is what
down
happened to
NCAA
the
You're
which
regulations.
is
telling me
what
those
happened
two
to the
things
Gators
don't
in the
communicate at all? You don't think they communicate at all? Not at
I
all.
I'm not
think-
saying that, but what you're saying is the university is paying the players, and what I'm saying is that's incorrect.
Right.
The
Okay.
athletic association is not paying the players. The
So technically-
boosters are paying the players. The advertisers are paying the players.
All right, fine. You guys win. There's no money. There's no money from those locations paying those kids to play for those schools.
So what you're saying is the University of Florida is paying Graham Mertz.
No,
And what I'm saying is
someone
that is
who
incorrect.
supports the University of Florida.
We're not saying that. That's correct. It is not linked to the University of Florida. It's
But
a
they are.
booster.
They're
It's
linked.
a booster.
They're linked. If they support the Florida football program.
They do not work for the athletic association or the university.
Okay. Yeah. They don't work for the university. That's fine. They are an alumni from the university or they've
Right,
been-
and it happens at every dude.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Oklahoma in the '80s paid a guy named
Oh,
Brian
sure.
Bosworth.
they paid
okay.
they paid
He wasn't even good.
they paid the best the best who never Brian Bosworth wasn't good. Excuse me. What?
How do you do in the NFL?
Well, in college he was pretty good.
Okay, so was Tim Tebow. How do you do in the NFL?
So Sam Bradford, how do you do in the NFL?
He had a pretty cool movie,
Yeah.
So did Hulk
The
Hogan.
Boz.
The Boz.
That's
No,
what Boz should have done is gone to wrestling.
Yeah,
So-
he should have.
I mean, it was still boosters who gave him the money. It's the same. And just I mean, you guys are saying yes. Okay, fine. You guys are right. Somebody from those locations, not quote unquote affiliated with the school.
I'll give you an
is paying those
example.
players.
Let me give you an example.
They would
Back-
not go. They would not go to those locations if they weren't getting paid.
Back in agreed. But back in the '80s, do you know who Leon Searcy is?
I recognize the name.
Okay, Leon Searcy was the you know who Tony Baselli is, right?
Yeah.
Tony Baselli was the left tackle for the Jaguars. The right tackle was
Hall
Leon
of Famer, right?
Searcy. Yeah, and the right tackle was a guy named Leon Searcy, and he went to the University of Miami, and the sub shop down there wanted to name a sub after him, and the NCAA wouldn't let them. Right, so they named it like something like like something very close, and and Leon was seen around Coral Gables driving in like a new BMW,
Right.
So it's
Right.
happened. Paying players has happened, but if the university or the athletic association before NIL, if they got caught paying somebody like let's just say who is the DJ Lagway's #1 quarterback in the country. He's going to Florida, right? That dude's going to get fucking paid a lot,
Right.
I mean, a lot, but they're not going to link it to the university, or the athletic association. Somebody is stepping up. In Gainesville, they call them bull gators, which is they're big time boosters. Somebody's going to step up and go, hey, we're tired of losing. It's basically the plot of the movie Blue Chips.
Sure.
100%.
Yep.
He'll get an anonymous
That's
donation.
That's
from
at every school
somewhere.
now, though.
Yep.
I mean, that's at every
100%
school
it
now.
is. Yep.
And it didn't used to be every school, right? It didn't used to be every school for multiple players.
No.
That's my point. That's what I'm trying to tell you is, do I think it's fair for a university to make hundreds of millions of dollars off a player who could get injured and never work as being in the NFL while he's representing your school? Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Doctors do not provide money to the programs that they what I'm saying is your comparison is not apples to apples. It's not the same thing.
So you're
Okay?
saying
Those
they
players
provide
earn money for the school, and then in turn that money pays for basically the operations of the entire school.
But
right,
you
but
can't-
that's their value. Okay, doctors hold a different value. So if you went value
Not for
to
the
value,
school, they don't.
if you went, yeah, they do, because the better doctors or lawyers or whatever that go to your school. Why do you think Harvard law is better than Florida State law?
right. You're
because of the
comparing apples to oranges, though.
because the quality of student is their value. Now, in football, the quality of student is
So
shit.
you're telling me, I'm going to stop you right here. You're telling me year on year, those lawyers that come out of Harvard earn every single year for the last 50 years. What, I don't know. Who knows? How much money do you think Florida makes per year off of its football program?
Well, it's not just a football program, but if you took all sports, because a lot of sports lose money.
Sure.
You know,
But if I'm saying just the football players for right now.
Okay.
How much money do you think off of football? What kind of revenue or profit do you think they pull in just off the football program?
I don't know. I mean,
300 million?
number. I think it's more than that.
So let's say 300 million on average for a large school that has a large football program. That's really good.
Right.
And
so
that's
I know
every
you're
year.
Advocating for payers to get paid. I know that
Maybe
I know
not
you're
as much as they're getting paid. Okay.
I know you're advocating for that. What I'm saying is that paying players has ruined college football.
Sure. I won't disagree with you.
And
what I think
a
there needs to be
glaring example of that is because of it, arguably the best coach in the history of the game quit.
Yeah. No, I see your point. All I'm saying is I think if it's done in a controlled manner to where it's not the Wild West where they can just transfer to whatever boosters are going to pay the most, or wherever I'm going to go to get, either get paid or played more. And they can just instantaneously transfer from one school to another season upon season, so they can play at 4 different schools in 4 years if they want to. There has to be some sort of regulating body, something to control that portion of this. Like if they're going to get paid to go to a school by boosters, that they should also commit to being at that school for multiple years.
So I have a question.
Sign a contract.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They should, if they're going to be paid like professional athletes, they should have to sign contracts like professional athletes.
So I have a question for you. How much NIL money do doctors and lawyers get?
None.
Okay. So how much
while they're going to school, do they make any money for the school?
They provide value.
They provide value for the school.
Yeah. But not as much as football players.
But it's the prestige of the school. So if you're going into Harvard and everything like that out of Harvard, you're comparing the value of a Harvard education against the NIL money that you're getting from
they
Florida
don't care.
or Ohio State or whatever. And
they don't care about education anymore.
Yeah. It's apples to oranges.
We've created, not to get political, but some people, not me, have created a society of I want to do the least amount of work for the most amount of money, and that's the society that we live in that has been created by the younger generation, the gimme, the entitlement, which isn't there. To Beeb's point, they're not they're not bringing in money. What I'm saying is the doctors, the lawyers, the education department, whatever, are providing value to, because the football players, the only value that they can provide is playing football.
Oh yeah, I get it. So you're saying it's entertainment versus actually societal value.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking dollars and cents value.
No.
That's a different thing altogether.
So but doctors aren't filling 100,000 seat stadium every Saturday.
Well,
agreed.
Like that program, that football program is helping pay for the doctor program. The doctors programs.
Right, but at least
at the giant state schools, maybe not Harvard.
But at the same time, the John Hopkins and Harvard and all those giant schools and Columbia, and all those, even Juilliard, things like that. Those are all prestigious schools that are happening and still maintaining their value because of the clientele and the people that are coming out of that, and they're maintaining their societal value.
Well, those schools get their value from endowments and
Right.
donations from alumni, not from what they sell on
which is
on
basically the same thing as NIL.
No, because you're not paying their students to go to school there to be a lawyer. They have to earn their money after they're gone. So it's not exactly the same.
It's similar.
I would say it's similar, but you're only as good as like the teachers who teach the students. Right? If the students are not being taught by good professors, then they're not going to end up being as good out on the field. So the professors are like your coaches, I guess, in that sense. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
Yep.
Are you going to get those huge endowment scholarships or the big donations if your professors and your programs are not as good academically? Probably not.
Right.
So I see it.
And you're not going to get the big NIL money if you're not that prestigious school either.
But that is it's not the same as athletes getting paid, students getting paid to perform at the school while they're in school. That's
Right.
the difference.
Right.
So I guess but Kev's absolutely right. It's ruined college football for what it was, because now we don't even, you used to be able to recruit a guy, right? And he'd be there for 2-3 years, maybe 4 years. And now they're gone after one.
Because they're chasing the money, and they should. They should. Good for them. Let them go after one.
It's turned into the fucking NBA.
Essentially. But I guess my point in saying, if I was an athlete and I didn't know if I was going to make it to the NFL, and this was my shot to get as much money as I possibly could, I don't blame the players for that. I blame the system that created that.
Okay. So let's put you on the spot. So you have a teenage son. So he comes up and he has a chance, and he is 18 years old, and he goes to college, and he has the opportunity. He's a top recruit for college, and he comes out, and he's going to be number one draft choice in basketball, and he could like Zach Edey. Let's use Zach Edey for a great, and he's 17 years old, and he has a chance to stay in school, or he can go back for another year and either further his draft choice or come out a year. He can get NIL money, and he could stay in school and make NIL money, go another year, maybe further his position in the draft, or he can come out early. What do you advise him to do?
Well, I guess it depends on the sport, right?
Basketball.
So if it's basketball and he's going to be drafted high, then from a financial standpoint, he should go out as soon as he can if he's going to be drafted high, because they get paid more in the early draft and the early draft choices.
So Zach Edey did not do that. He's getting NIL money. He stayed in, and he will probably come out this year, be the number one draft choice.
See, Zach Edey's kind of a freak of nature. The dude is how tall?
Okay, so your son, but let's just play along. Your son can be a freak of nature. Your son can, in this hypothesis, your son can be anything you want him to be.
If he was asking me for advice, my advice would be to do exactly what Zach Edey did. But hopefully by the time he's that age, which Zach Edey isn't 17. Okay, he's an adult. And so by the time he becomes an adult, sure, I would advise him to do what Zach Edey did, but he'd still be able to do whatever he wanted to do. And I would hope that I parented him to do the best thing, which in my opinion is to show loyalty to those who showed loyalty to you. Right?
Okay, so what was your answer?
My answer would be to do what Zach Edey did, because I think he developed more. He became a better player. He became bigger and stronger. and he bettered himself for the next draft. And I think that's true about all players. I think that's in college basketball, you're seeing a much different thing go on in some scenarios. Not all, but in some scenarios. You're seeing guys stay until they're seniors in basketball. And some of them are staying on the same team until they're seniors because of the NIL money.
All right. But so just to be clear, so despite the NIL is ruining college sports and everything like that, your advice is to stay in, take the NIL money, and then despite it ruining everything, your advice would be to stay in, take the NIL money, and then further your position in the draft.
So my point wasn't that it's ruining college sports. My point was that it's actually better for the players. That's what my argument was from the beginning. For the players, from a player standpoint, NIL is a great thing. Now, does it ruin college athletics? Does it hurt the fans? Yes, it hurts the fans. And for college football especially.
Wasn't Nick Saban's point that it ruins sports?
That it ruins college sports. Or that it's not the same thing as it used to be. And that was what Nick Saban said. This isn't what college football is. Not the college football that he knew or has gotten used to in his career.
Okay.
So from a fan standpoint, I absolutely do not like the current NIL system. Absolutely not. But from a player standpoint, I get the argument, and I do advocate for players to get paid. Do I think they should jump ship from team to team to team? No, I don't think that's great. Zach Edey, for instance, he stayed on the same team. He stayed with Purdue. Right. He didn't go anywhere. He could have. He could have jumped to Duke, right?
Right. And from a parental standpoint, you would say, hey, go up and take as much money as you can get.
I would say stay at the same school because the stability at the school that recruited you would be better for your experience level. And you'd still, NIL right now, if you're a star on your team, you're going to get paid anyway. So I would say do exactly what Edey did because he cares about his academic too. It seems like he cares about, graduating from college, that kind of stuff. Me, I would advise him to stay in school and finish his degree. That would be my advice. I don't think there's anybody giving that advice out, but
okay.
Anyway, Kev checked out already.
Cool.
This is a dumb argument.
Okay.
Well, so NFL, speaking of people getting paid, lots of movement in the NFL. Let's talk about that.
Do you want me to tell people who are fucking idiots or?
Lots of stuff went on, right? Lots of stuff went on. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's over yet, but yeah.
Well, right, technically, okay. Just to be clear,
yes,
we are in a legal tampering zone right now. Free agency technically does not start until 4:00 Wednesday afternoon.
So tomorrow.
Okay? At noon on Monday, the legal tampering thing started. Okay. So they can make deals, but nothing is inked until 4:00 tomorrow afternoon. So all these people like Gabe Davis and the center from Buffalo and all that good stuff, that's not going to be inked. Now they've agreed, but they can't ink it unless they are like Russell Wilson was cut.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But free agency does not start until 4:00 tomorrow afternoon.
So do you know what one of the most important trades or things that should not happen until 4:00 tomorrow afternoon should be? Nothing should happen with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Because if it happens before 4:00, Atlanta gets a second round draft choice. If it happens after 4:00, they get a third round draft choice. So, if they're quick on the gun, they can lose. Jags could lose a pretty significant choice.
Now, speaking of Atlanta,
Yeah, they made a big trade
on well, free agent signing.
or free agency. Sorry. Yeah.
So on one hand, if you look at the Falcons with Kirk Cousins, okay, manageable quarterback that has had a above average career. They also have Bijan Robinson,
First round
they
draft
also-
choice.
They also have Kyle Pitts.
First round draft choice.
That, in my opinion, has not been used correctly. And then they have an above average defense. Now they're playing that what was his name, Desmond Ritter, at quarterback. Could have argued the point they were a quarterback away from beating the Bucks and them going to the playoffs, and not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Correct.
Of going to the playoffs. So, in that aspect, it's a smart move. Is Kirk Cousins worth $180 million?
How many playoff wins does he
no.
have?
Right.
Do you know?
Probably zero.
One.
Yeah,
He has
maybe
one.
One. Fucking Tony Romo has one.
One playoff win.
And
he signed $180 million. How much money do you think Kirk Cousins has made or will make over the course if he rides out this contract? What do you think his total dollar amount will be if he rides out the end of this contract?
Well, if you look at, I'm looking at the contract right now. $180 million, 4 years, total guaranteed $100 million, guaranteed at signing $90 million.
Yeah.
He goes $25 million against the cap, potential outs 3 year, $135 million.
Okay. How much did he make with Minnesota? Just guess without looking it up.
I don't know.
Guess.
Yeah.
Just guess.
65 million.
More than that.
Okay.
More than that.
Okay. 100 million.
How much did he make with Washington?
Well, part of the time with Washington, he was on a rookie contract.
He was.
So, and he drafted the same year that RG3 was.
Yes.
I believe that he was.
RG3,
I believe that he was.
Yeah.
So if Kirk Cousins ends his days in Atlanta and he rides out all the contracts combined, Washington, at Minnesota, and this contract in Atlanta, he will have 400 and I think it's $82 million.
Let me ask you this: do you think Kirk Cousins is better than Matt Ryan?
I think he's Matt Ryan in disguise.
I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins is if you want to talk about a game manager, Kirk Cousins is a game manager. I think he's a good quarterback.
It's not so much Brock Purdy, but
yeah. He's no Brock Purdy.
no, Brock Purdy went to the fucking Super Bowl.
He did. I think that it'll be very interesting to see what happens in this division because it is wide open. The Saints aren't going to do anything. David Carr washed up. And Jameis Winston sure isn't doing anything there.
To play devil's advocate for Kirk Cousins, I mean, who has he played with? I mean, as far as on his team.
Well, yeah, Jefferson. Yeah.
But who was on the Commanders team?
Diggs.
Well, they were the Redskins.
Sorry,
But,
Redskins team.
But yeah, they blew too. There's that one year where they finally wised up and benched RG3 and let Kirk Cousins. I've been screaming that Kirk Cousins is better than RG3, since they came out of Baylor and Michigan State. Yeah,
there's a good receiver on the Redskins.
Yeah, he's so good.
I guess my question is if you put,
exactly.
If you say so, you asked about Matt Ryan. Like, if you put the same team around him that Matt Ryan had, do you think he would perform as good as Matt Ryan?
Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones.
I think if you put Kirk Cousins, let's just take the 28-3, team that went to the Super Bowl. I think if you put Kirk Cousins on that team, you get the same outcome. I think Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins are are very similar. It's just Matt Ryan. You know, a lot of people would say Matt Ryan's the best quarterback in Atlanta Falcons history. I disagree. I think it's Michael Vick, but it's certainly the most decorated. You know,
Sure.
and Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan was your stereotypical, northeastern drop back passer. I think Kirk Cousins versus Matt Ryan, I think he has a little bit better of an arm. But I think Kirk Cousins makes poor decisions.
All right. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, because same age, I think,
36.
and many more playoff wins. Do you think Russell Wilson will do well in Pittsburgh?
All right, so I was getting into this with a fucking Steelers fan, okay, who is not the soon-to-be world-famous wife. For
Right.
those of you who don't know, the soon-to-be world-famous wife is from outside Pittsburgh, Latrobe, Pennsylvania. It's where Mr. Rogers lived. If you don't know who Mr. Rogers is, get a fucking book, man. Anyhow, so if you look at the Steelers without Russell Wilson, okay, let's just there's nobody at quarterback. No Kenny Pickett, no Mason Rudolph, right? No Mitch Trubisky. And just look at it there. They have an above average running back. They have
Is it Najee Harris?
yeah.
All right.
They have an above average offensive line. They have a pretty good tight end. Until about 2 hours ago, they had above average wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw, but Deontay Johnson was traded to the Panthers.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have an above average defense and a really good defensive line with Highsmith and TJ Watt. Okay. And arguably the best head coach in the fucking NFL in Mike Tomlin, who has never, I say never, had a losing season as a head coach. Okay. Last year, our friends over at the Two Penny Podcast were saying the Steelers are going to fall flat on their face. They're going to be the worst team in the AFC North. And guess what? They made the fucking playoffs. Okay, they do it every year. Now, if you bring Russell Wilson in and let him do, he's got a lot more weapons in Pittsburgh than he did in Denver. Denver, he had Cortland Sutton if it was short yardage, and he had Jerry Jeudy. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know the name of their tight end.
Yeah, or their running back.
Don't know him either. Yeah,
so you had Jerry Jeudy, who's been traded from the Broncos, and you had Cortland Sutton, who was only good if they're in the red zone, really, but he did score. That's why I was glad to have him on my fantasy team. But if you look at the whole thing, Pittsburgh, this is how they win. They run the ball, they play defense. So if you add in what Wilson can do, the problem is that in the past 2 years, Wilson's decision-making has been suspect. Yeah. So I think it's a good pickup for Pittsburgh. The only other person I would have rather seen them pick up is Justin Fields.
That brings up the question, where is that man going?
Well, they got Wilson for dirt cheap too, for like 1.1 million, 1.2 million.
Yeah.
That's a great
but
pickup.
he had like 38 million that's owed to him from the Broncos. Yeah. So he ain't hurting for cash. Him and Ciara, they could go to the most expensive place in Pittsburgh, which is Burger King, and
Yeah, isn't it like Kermit? No, that's
it's called Permanente Brothers.
Yeah, there was another one.
That's the world famous restaurant there.
Yeah, there's another one in Cleveland too. That was
fries
too, but
they put fucking fries on a salad.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, what are the odds that Justin Fields remains a Bear even if they pick Caleb Williams?
It's about 50-50. I don't know where there's a couple spots he could go. He could go. Denver, they think he's going to trade up and try to get higher and get a quarterback. I don't know where they're going to trade, but we'll see. Seattle needs a quarterback. That could be an option for Fields, maybe. They were talking about Vegas, but then Gardner Minshew went there. So
Drew Lock went somewhere too.
Yeah, Drew Lock went to the. Did he go to the? No, Mariota went to the Commanders, but Drew Lock went to the Giants. I think Drew Lock went to the Giants.
Hang on, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, he went to the Giants.
And then
$5 million.
Minnesota, I was thinking for a while, but then they got Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Yeah. Darnold. I can't believe they picked up him for a year, but I don't really know where else Fields would go right now. If he would go anywhere, maybe as a backup he would go somewhere. But here's the thing that I think may happen with them. They may keep him, and they may keep him and put Williams, draft Williams, and then keep Williams almost as a training, get him going.
Well, that brings up the question, because a lot of other sports will do this. They'll go out and they'll get someone in the same position as their best player and see who the better player is. And they'll say, hey, the best competition produces the best players. And
maybe.
And so they'll have.
I mean, Pittsburgh could also be getting Russell Wilson so he could teach Kenny Pickett.
Sure.
Yeah. There's good competition there, but maybe they will draft Williams now and see what happens in it. See if this kid's for real. And
Um,
would you consider that a waste? Considering you need a bunch of other weapons.
I would. I wouldn't. I'm not as big on Williams as everybody else is. I think that there's a better choice out there. I think if you're going to keep Fields, I would take Harrison Jr. I'd give him another weapon.
I would rather eat gas station sushi than have Caleb Williams on my team.
Yeah, I just think the kid is poison. I just don't think. I think that, sometimes in life, college stats look good and they can do good, but they just don't transfer to the NFL. And you could be a great college. You could be fantastic college
don't start talking
player.
shit about Tebow.
No. You could be a great.
He won a playoff game
football player. But I just don't think that no matter how good you are in college, I just don't see you having a good NFL career. And
so I got a question then.
Yeah.
So what's different about him and the other quarterbacks in the draft that might be good?
I think this kid's a head case. I think the kid is mentally just a head case all over the place. And does he have the arm? Can he make the throws? Can he do that? Sure. I think that he probably can.
Couldn't you say that about the others?
Sure, you can say that about anybody.
You can say that about,
Drake May is a Christian boy.
You can say it. You can say it about any quarterback. You can say it about anybody. Right. But I just think
Daniels goes to church every Sunday.
You can say it about anybody you want to, but I don't know.
I guess that's just my question. Is like, other than the strange things that he's done, which I think he's got poor advisement. Caleb Williams has got some poor advisors, and he's kind of a strange cat off the field already.
Yeah, I don't think he has anybody advising him, and I think that's part of the problem.
Or he's got Lincoln Riley advising him, and that's part of the motherfucking problem right there.
That could be it too.
When Joe Biden starts talking about you in a State of the Union address,
rest in peace.
Yeah. Did you know that Lincoln Riley died? I don't, dude. If I was Lincoln Riley, I would have gone to social media like immediately and been like,
I'm still here. Yeah,
I'd be like, heaven looks a lot like Southern California.
I just, I don't know. I think that there's better. I think there's better options.
Who would you rather? Okay, sorry, I don't want to go off this because I don't think I've heard you say if they weren't going to pick Caleb Williams as a quarterback, is there another quarterback you'd rather them pick?
For
kid from North Carolina, Drake May.
3 weeks straight, I said Drake May.
Okay,
but yeah. So I mean, I would take May for sure. But I think if I really do think that they're, I don't know, Fields.
But what about Drake May? That's my question. Is what about Drake May makes you just because you think he has a better head on his shoulders, or?
Yeah, I just think that he's a more complete player.
In
Yeah.
what way?
I don't know. I just think I just think he's more of a more complete player. I don't know how I
What makes
can.
him a more complete player? Like, does he run the ball better? Does he throw the ball better?
He's got a horse cock, and he's from what I hear in the locker room, he's hung and he's got big balls, and he likes to show it off.
I
And
got big
I
balls
don't
and I
know.
cannot lie.
And, I mean, I don't know. I just think that I think he can probably read, more mentally sound than. So if you want to compare it to like Madden, his intelligence or his whatever they say would be higher than Caleb Williams, and so his stats would be a little bit more.
Gotcha.
And mental awareness or whatever you would be higher than that on that grade.
Okay.
As far as speed or arm strength or anything like that. I mean, it's a mystery for Caleb Williams because he didn't throw, so
Yeah.
you just have to go off of what you see on a tape and you do things. Now, again, can he? Sure, I'm sure he can. There were some other people in the combine that looked pretty good too, but I don't know. It's just a gut from everything I've seen, and when you hype somebody up to be that good, a generational player, and this is the second coming, and for all I know, this guy is Jesus. Well, I just don't see it, and
Okay.
you know,
I just hear a lot of people say the same exact thing. It's not just you. I think I've heard a lot of people say it. Like,
yeah,
hey, you
yeah,
shouldn't pick this guy. He's strange cat. Like, was
yeah,
weird at the combine. Did some weird things. Said some weird things,
yeah.
and he just gave people the wrong vibe. And so I was just other than that, I was just wondering, like, is there anything tangential? Not I guess, is that the wrong? Is there anything tangible that we can attach onto other than he's just going to be a head case?
Well, and then being a Bears fan, if we've had like 8,000 quarterbacks too. So I don't want to put all the hope into again, the
Right.
second coming of Christ that on this guy that he's going to be held so high. And then if
Here-
he does flop, it's just another, the Bears screwed up again. And, they did it. They knew they shouldn't have done this and blah, 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 blah. So,
here's a question for you. Who's had more quarterbacks, the Bears or the Browns?
the Bears.
Think so?
For sure. The Bears have had like 30 quarterbacks. I mean, let's put it this way. The Packers have had two, now three. And I think in that time that the Packers have had three quarterbacks, the Bears, I guarantee you, the Bears have probably had 20 quarterbacks.
Hey, didn't the Packers just pick somebody big up?
Yeah, they picked up Josh Jacobs and let go of Aaron Jones, who then went to the Vikings. And that is going to be crazy. So, on that note, I have a question for you on that. So, Saquon Barkley got released and then went to the Eagles. So,
Right.
Crosstown rivals or anything like that. I mean, what's the opinion on that? If somebody gets released and goes to your bitter rival, how does that? What do you like? We know how you feel, Kev. That's like Etienne leaving Florida and going to Georgia. I mean, how do you? What's your opinion?
How do I feel about that?
Well, we know how you feel about that,
Yeah,
but I mean,
fuck them. That's how I feel about that.
in the NFL, I mean, how do you?
It would be like his older brother Travis Etienne,
Right,
right, leaving the Jaguars and going to play for the Titans.
right.
That would be there now. Saquon Barkley, again, is a free agent. This is why you re-sign people, so you have some sort of control on where they go if you're going to trade them, and hopefully they don't go into somebody in your division,
Right.
But I'll tell you this: if you're, I grew up before the Jags as an NFC fan because I watched the Falcons, but ever since the Jags, I'm an AFC fan. I'll tell you this. And you're talking about getting free agents going to contenders. if anybody in the AFC right now isn't concerned about the Baltimore Ravens,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah.
made a huge signing.
Yeah.
you know, because
Derrick Henry.
in the last 5 years, yeah,
I'd be freaked out.
I was talking to St. Joe. In the last 5 years, who has led the NFL in rushing?
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Henry.
Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
running back. Now, which quarterback has led the NFL in rushing? Lamar Jackson
Yeah,
in the
they're
last
going to
5
be a
years.
scary
and,
team.
and they're both on the same fucking team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I just picked him up on fantasy, or not fantasy, Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
on Madden.
Yeah,
he's a horse.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, let's face it. The AFC has definitely been the more dominant division.
Well, that's just because we had the Chiefs. I'll tell you this: if the Chiefs just get Calvin Ridley, if for some reason they get Calvin Ridley,
That'd
I'm
be
picking the
insane.
Chiefs to be the first three-peat.
That would be unbelievable if they somehow could get that. But I mean,
it's just over. Jaguars just unload your team. It's over.
I mean, the Jags have been aggressive. I'm impressed that the
Jags are
have
doing
been
good.
Aggressive.
Yeah, I give them a B. I'd like to see some interior defensive line. Run stoppage.
Yeah.
But they got Savage from Green Bay. That was big.
That
I think
kid's
that's
a
bigger than
beast.
Gabe Davis.
Yep.
They
Gabe
got
Davis is going to be interesting. So Gabe Davis, the pickup there is interesting because it does it now. All we need to do is have Kirk.
Yeah, but Kirk or Gabe Davis aren't a true number one like Ridley is.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You need a deep threat, somebody who you throw the ball up, he's going to catch a fucking ball, like a Ridley or before they franchise tagged him, I was totally on the T. Higgins bandwagon. T.
Higgins would have been
I was totally on the T. Higgins. I was like, fuck Calvin Ridley, go get T. Higgins. But I mean, somebody like that. But traditionally, I mean, the Jaguars receiver corps has never really been, horrible.
No.
And we've had some, people, but some dare I say no name people, there. But I mean, if you're a marquee player, right? The only thing to entice you to come to Jacksonville, Florida, is that we have a head coach that's won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have above average weather and money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
no income tax.
No income tax, yeah. Sorry, forgot about the no income tax. But unless, if you go to Atlanta, or New York, Philly, these are major media markets, that people can get seen. They can, get endorsement deals, shit like that. So to get a marquee player like that, so that's why I'm on you need to figure out a way to keep Calvin Ridley. But if you keep Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones is gone.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's not. I mean, I'd rather keep Ridley than Zay Jones, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, if you had to choose between the two, wouldn't you choose Ridley?
I would choose Ridley for sure.
I mean, everybody thinks Ridley had a down year, still caught 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he's turning 30.
He seemed pretty good when I watched him, but yeah, he is turning 30.
But
yeah, the thing is, he's so fast that he gets a double team every time, and that's why Christian Kirk is open. That's why Evan Ingram's open. That's why Zay Jones is open. Now, where Zay Jones fits into the mix, if you keep him, is that dude can catch anything you throw at him as long as he's open. You know what I'm saying? The problem is Zay Jones has a problem getting open.
Yeah.
And Ridley does not.
Well, but we just signed the guy from Buffalo, Gabe Davis.
That's Gabe Davis, yeah.
Yeah, Gabe Davis. We also signed a new center. Yeah, Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is a Zay Jones type receiver.
Yeah. But he gets open. Sorry. I mean, you could argue that Allen throws him open. I threw him open, though, I guess.
There are a couple people that are tuning in that I want to explain something to really quick. And I don't know if you saw on Saturday, the Jaguars made a trade with the New England Patriots for a guy named Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a quarterback for the Bowl School here in Jacksonville. He was a first-round draft pick, pick number 15 in the same draft that we drafted Trevor Lawrence, number 1. He went to the University of Alabama, where he won a national championship, right? So why do we bring in Mac Jones and and not go forward with C.J. Beathard? Well, let me tell you why. Last year, Trevor Lawrence got hurt in the Cincinnati Bengal game and was never really right after that. Okay, he had a knee problem. He hurt his hamstring. He had a concussion. He was never really right after that. The only game that he missed was against the Carolina Panthers, who turned out to be 2-15. Okay, the worst team in the NFL, right? Because they made that trade with DJ Moore. That's why the Bears have the number 1 pick, because Carolina was so bad. C.J. Beathard, he was not. They did not have enough confidence in him to give him 3 starts, which is probably what Lawrence needed to get healthy. Lest us not forget, we needed 1 win to get into the playoffs, right? So C.J. Beathard gets paid $4.5 million a year to play, have 1 start, and play when Lawrence gets hurt. I've gone on record by saying that the backup quarterback in the NFL is the best job in the NFL, especially if you're behind a franchise quarterback, because nobody knows who you are. Nobody knew who Peyton Manning's backup was, and it was Dan Orlansky. He's a commentator now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, he gets paid $4.5 million. So you bring in Mac Jones, who's on a rookie contract, right?
Save some money.
Save some money so you could sign somebody like Calvin Ridley, or go after
Somebody else, yeah.
defensive line help, pay your first-round draft picks, because I don't know if you've seen the Jaguars salary cap, but it's getting kind of tight.
We're gonna have to draft some players for sure. I mean, I don't know what our picks are in the draft though.
They have they're around 16 or 17, aren't they? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, the first round is 17. I've got the draft order right here. First round is 17.
Yeah.
Right behind, right in between Seattle and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So we either need to draft a defensive line and offensive line, right?
Yeah.
We got to draft offensive line and defensive line.
Okay, so they re-signed Sheriff. They re-signed Ezra Cleveland on the offensive line, and then they brought in that center. His name escapes me now, but they just brought in the free agent center, and so you got Cam Robinson, and probably at right tackle you're probably gonna, against my better judgment, you're gonna have Walker Little, who is good for at least 4 fucking holding penalties a game. So I think offensive line, they're gonna keep the cohesive unit that's played together. Which is...
You don't think they go out and get one?
I mean, they'll probably draft somebody. They need a right tackle. They need a honest-to-goodness right tackle. They need Cam Robinson, but on the right.
There's a couple players in that position too.
Yeah.
That are coming into the draft. If you can get them.
They also need somebody to stop the run. I mean, you got edge rushers, Josh Allen, you got Trayvon Walker. And then you got, the tackling master, Luakon, back there.
Yeah.
And you put Savage at safety now. I mean, your defense is kind of coming together, because let's just not forget, the Jags window is open and it's closing quickly.
Yeah.
They need something, to get over, because if it's not, the money guys are going to come in and be like, okay, you want to pay Trevor Lawrence $200 million? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's got to have a good year.
We could do this with Mac Jones.
It'll be real interesting.
We can go 9-8 with Mac Jones.
He's in a contract year, so it'll be real interesting to see what he comes up with this year.
Needs to win the motherfucking Super Bowl.
He needs to do good. He needs to step up.
And Doug needs to do something too.
Yeah. He does.
Doug needs to do something too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's out there buying new trucks, shaking hands, doing all kinds of stuff, man. He needs to do it.
I tell you, on the free agency thing, who's winning right now? I mean, Philly's looking good.
Eagles did well.
Philly's looking good, but Green Bay's looking good.
Yep. Packers
You
picked
know,
up some
the
good players.
the Panthers have made some good moves.
Mhm.
You know, it seems like Houston lost a lot of people, especially on defense.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, you know, but I mean,
You
Tennessee's
know,
made some good moves. The
you know who's
Commanders
not
have made some
doing
good moves.
you know who's not doing anything?
Hmm.
Good old America's team. Jerry Land
No.
ain't doing shit.
Yeah, they lost Pollard too.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, Pollard went to Tennessee. So I'm not sad about. I can't say I'm too sad about that. But
I guess Tennessee's going to ride the Will Levis train.
yeah, I don't,
You know,
well, maybe they'll trade up. Maybe they could trade. I could see them.
They need a quarterback.
how
They need a
pissed would
quarterback.
you be if they traded Will Levis for Justin Fields straight up?
Oh,
You know, and the Bears did
God.
that shit. The Bears are starting Will Levis. You
no,
know,
no.
and
Maybe Tennessee
you know,
is a player in
the pride of the
Justin Fields.
Kentucky Wildcats. The motherfucker went to Kentucky. You
Yeah,
know, the last
maybe.
quarterback that was good that went to Kentucky was Jared Lorenzen.
I mean, I just can't think of anywhere else that a quarterback is really a top priority now. But
Well, Denver.
yeah, Denver. But I just
They're-
don't see that
they're
happening.
gonna
They're going to
draft.
trade up to get the draft.
I could see the Titans making a move for sure.
Maybe.
I could see it.
Maybe.
What are the fucking Giants gonna do? They're riding the Daniel Jones train still,
Nah,
or
they're gonna draft
they're
somebody
going with
to-
Tommy DeVito. You know, the fucking
Where did they
Mafia
draft?
king.
They draft third,
Hold please. The Giants draft 6.
six.
You could see something coming out of New York for
yeah,
sure.
Giants
New
could
England?
trade up. New England signed Jacoby
Jacoby
Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. Yeah.
I just
No,
can't
they
see
know
that
him.
happening either. But
Here's a trivia question: where did Jacoby Brissett go to college?
Ooh.
Okay,
No
so he
idea.
graduated from NC State, right?
Okay.
But he transferred from Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
he's
Well,
he's manageable. He's big. He's big.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so he could see over, you know, the big uglies on the line.
I just
Okay,
don't
so
see-
here, do we have any drama this week? Because I'm going to guess that our special listeners out there.
No, I don't have any drama this week.
None.
Nothing. No, nothing special.
Okay, well, my dad's in town, and I said, Dad, I'm recording a sports podcast tomorrow night. Is there anything we should talk about? And he says, Yes, you should talk about the Red Sox and how they suck and how they're not doing anything to get any better. And I said, Kev will be all over that.
So the Red Sox played the Braves the other day, right? And I watched the entire game, and they had Devers mic'd up, and you know they the problem with watching a midweek spring training game is that you know in the third inning they're going to start to put people in that are going to be bagging groceries in 3 weeks, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, but the problem that I saw with the Red Sox was the depth of pitching. You know,
they don't have
they
anybody.
they can from what I saw they can score, and it's the same thing. The AL East, and to tell your dad that this is the caveat that maybe gives a glimmer of hope to the Red Sox. Okay, because let me tell you this in no uncertain terms. I don't know how to say it. The fucking Baltimore Orioles are good.
Yeah.
They are very
they are.
good. But so are the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay? Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, Kev, the New York Yankees went out and got a murderer's row. Well, you know what? They played the Braves the other day, and they started that murderer's row. When I say that, that's DJ LeMahieu leading off. That's Juan Soto in the second position. That's Aaron Judge in the third. And then that's Giancarlo, formerly known as Mike Stanton, in the fourth position before you get in all that. And you know what? They did beat the Braves, but we beat the Braves by 9-8. You want to know who wasn't playing for the Braves? Ronald Acuna, Austin Riley, Matt Olson. These people weren't playing for the Braves. Still scored 8 on the fucking. So the pitching in the AL East is suspect. Granted,
Yes.
is spring training.
Well, and so one thing my father did mention was, well, it's been the Red Sox new their new mantra is to only give 3-year deals out to their pitchers.
Right. And another thing you can tell your dad is don't worry. Alex Cora will find a way to cheat. You know, I mean, he learned well in Houston. You know, he will find a way, you know, to steal signs, you know, to maybe bring the steroid era back. You know,
Something.
they got the short porch in left field over the monster. You know,
he's
it's not
coaching
hard
for
to hit
his
a home
job.
run there.
He's
You
coaching
know,
for his
yeah.
job this year.
Yeah, I think that they should. Here's who I think should be the manager of the Boston Red Sox: Dustin Pedroia. That's who I think should be. You know, he was a serviceable player, and I think his baseball IQ is high. You know, and now the
Dustin
baseball
Pedroia was only serviceable.
No, I mean he's really good. He's an all-star.
Okay.
But you know what baseball likes to do now, like with Stephen Vogt, with Aaron Boone, with David Ross, is like wait that they retire, they're out 1 year, and then they're a manager.
Right.
You know,
right.
so I mean Stephen Vogt was on the Braves 2021 World Series team. He's now the manager of the Cleveland Indians or Guardians. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about have you guys watched any more basketball?
You know.
Oh, wait a second. This is just too good. This just came through my
Your feed.
fucking. This is. I will literally leave the country if this happens.
Okay. Write this
Fucking
down.
this is my drama.
Did Pope Francis do something?
Adam Shefty reports that New York quarterback Aaron Rodgers is on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s short list to be a fucking vice president candidate in November 2024.
Dude, I say let it happen.
Yeah, why not? Bring it on. Let's.
I
let's
will
do this.
leave the fucking country if
Vice
that
president
asshole
doesn't do anything anyway, right?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
also, this just came across, which would be absolutely insane if this would happen, is that the Vikings, and this is unverifiable, this is from one of the shitty sports things.
Lower rated sport things.
Yeah. Vikings reportedly turned down a offer from the Bengals for 2 first-round draft choices and
For
T.
Justin
Higgins
Jefferson?
for
Justin
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
However, they are open to trading Justin Jefferson for Joe Burrow.
No, they're not.
That would be
I bet you
insane.
I mean, Beeps, dude, they got Sam fucking Darnold, dude.
So
yeah.
that would be interesting. But I mean, come on.
Yeah, but who would Cincinnati play in Joe Burrow's place?
Yeah, exactly. Well, then they would have to draft. But I mean, that would be
utter insanity.
That would be some
the
insanity
Bengals
right
just.
there. If something
I mean, the Bengals
like that
just.
happened.
They just did they trade Joe Mixon or did they just?
traded
well,
Joe Mixon.
Joe. Well, they cut Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, right? Because they got somebody in free agency.
Yeah.
Right.
And they cut
But
Joe Mixon.
Jefferson also turned down a huge offer from the Vikings, I think, before.
I think the writing's on the wall for the Vikings. I mean, they had a good
Yeah.
team. They had
Yeah,
a
me too.
team that was winnable, and now the players are like, let's get the fuck out of Dodge.
Me too.
You
Me too.
know,
I'm with you.
Let's go to these.
That's
If
fucking
these
hilarious.
marquee players like Justin Jefferson can go to a team like Atlanta, like I put Jacksonville in the same category because we're right there. Just a couple 3 players, away from being really really good. And I'll tell you this: you put Justin Jefferson on the fucking Steelers. And you have him and George Pickens, I mean, that would be, I mean, the only question there is, can Russell Wilson throw the ball that far, or if you put, could you imagine this, if Justin Jefferson went to the fucking Ravens?
Oh, Jesus.
Ugh. Ooh.
Yeah,
I don't
that
wanna
would
think
be.
about that.
Because the Ravens have one thing in mind right now.
Yeah.
is how do we beat the Chiefs?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we beat the Chiefs?
Did the Ravens have Mark Andrews at the end of the last season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he
Yeah.
playing in that playoff game against the Chiefs?
He did.
I think he came back. Yeah, he was back for that game.
Limited. He played limited.
Yeah.
But
I think things might
Yeah.
have been different if you had a fully.
Anyhow, the best name in free agency so far is Lloyd Cushenberry. That's the best name. If you didn't know, he played for the Broncos, and he is now a Tennessee Titan. And he's a center, and they're paying him $50 fucking million to snap the fucking ball.
No. Okay.
Anyway, I was asking, had you guys watched any college
Sorry.
basketball?
Some.
Yeah, I watched.
I watched
Jacksonville versus Stetson.
Wisconsin. I watched Wisconsin Purdue, and I saw Purdue is probably one of the best teams in the NCAA.
Purdue's good.
My father and I watched UConn just destroy somebody the other night, Providence. I mean, just watched that team just dismantle Providence, and I thought, is there anybody in the country that has players to match up with UConn?
Well,
And
we'll get
I
into
can't
it
think of one.
next week. We should. We'll be able to pick our brackets. All the stuff should be out next week for sure.
I also watched a UNC. Here's one thing I wanted to bring up. I watched the UNC Duke game. I don't know if you guys caught the highlights of that one, but there is a 25-year-old player playing for UNC. He's 25. And he made like 6 threes against Duke, right? And he scored maybe, 25, 30 points. But you're 25 years old, right? And you're talking trash to all. I mean, as you're going off the court, you're a grown man, 25 years old, playing against like 18, 19-year-olds from Duke. And as you're walking off the court, you're talking trash. And you're on your third team. You started at Stanford, played for Notre Dame, and then he's finishing his career at UNC. He's in his third team. He's in his 5th year. He's a 5th-year senior. He got a COVID year. He's 25 years old. What are your thoughts on a guy who's that old playing NCAA basketball, talking trash, basically to the stands and people as he walks off, I guess, at Duke, who's not even really a UNC. He's a UNC player this year, but last year he was playing for Notre Dame. That kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not really – one, he's really old, and 2, he's not really part of the rivalry. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Am I just feeling weird about that and I'm the only one?
Basically.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Because it hit me the wrong way.
I mean, why do you feel that way?
Well, one, like, how often you got a 25-year-old starter, for UNC?
Well,
how often does that happen in today's game?
Chris Winkie was 26.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little different. Football, I suppose, but did he play for 3 other teams?
He played for the Toronto Blue Jays organization.
Right, but he didn't play for 3 other teams in the same sport in college.
He didn't. That should be illegal. These entitled little bitches.
For me, I'm more upset at the transfer portal than I am at NIL money. That's what I'm more upset about. So, anyway, it sounds to me like we're winding down. Is that right?
I hate it all.
All of it.
All of it.
Okay. All of us. All right. Well, anybody got anything else?
Not I. No.
No.
All right.
Said the fly.
Me neither.
So, have you guys checked out any of our friends at unfpod.com?
Yeah.
What did you check out?
What did I check out? I actually listened to Nailed It on Monday.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
And then
Nailed It had some special audio going on.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
So, okay.
I wasn't bringing it up.
So I was on the
at least it was as the finding you way.
Hey, I didn't bring it up, man. Don't talk trash to me. I didn't bring it up.
So you guys will get a kick out of this. There's a retweet group called the Podcasters Alliance 2024, and a guy in there today. I don't know if you saw the St. Joe, but a guy in there today put up his episode with Flat Earth Dave, and so Rena from Better Call Daddy, she was like, I interviewed him too, and that was like my most watched episode. And I was like, yeah, we did too. Guarantee is a tad bit different than yours, but it is our number one episode as well. And I was like, the Flat Earth community has a unique following, and that's all I said. She's like, yeah, it's like a cult, and it's like a cult or Scientology. And
it always comes back to Flat Earth Dave, doesn't it?
I thought it was funny that dude is still around, and he's still getting on people's podcasting and not letting them talk.
That's funny.
So
that's awesome.
I mean, and I don't know if you're out there in podcast land and you come on this show or you invite me on your show, I like to talk. At length, most of the time about nothing, so if Flat Earth Dave is out there, hi, so
I doubt it.
So you listened to Nailed It. Say, Joe, what have you listened to?
I've listened to a couple different ones. You know what? I know they're not members. Well, okay, I've listened to a couple different members. Pedals is always good. I've listened to Movie Lovers Unite, man. Good on them.
They're rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling, and they got some good stuff happening with them, which is great. Sleevy's always good. I got a pretty steady. Story of's good. I got a pretty steady rotation, but
yeah,
I do have to mention, one that's, I know they're not part of our studio, but they're always good friends of ours, and I'm sure they listen. And you know what? I missed them this week. I don't know what happened, but they didn't have an episode come out, and they only got like 2 left. So I hope they're not blowing it up early.
Oh, no. I'll bet you.
I don't know.
Were they not live this week?
No.
Or did they not have an episode last
night? I don't know if they were live yesterday.
I don't know, but I mean, maybe something happened that they couldn't get together and recorded. But I know that they're, on that 100th show, that it's Panic at the Disco, man, and it's gone. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the last 2 episodes. But how convenient that 2 more for the 2 penny. So, I mean, I'm tuning in. I'm anxiously waiting, but yeah, I missed it this week.
Yeah, they were not live yesterday.
I think something.
There was no show last Friday either.
Yeah, I think something might have happened with scheduling or something. Jay's probably out golfing, so we'll see.
I doubt that very much.
We'll see.
So is
well,
that
maybe.
the only,
I mean, I'm sure he's out golfing.
Is that the only thing that you listened to that you missed?
Well,
Stupid History Minute out there.
You motherfuckers.
Every day I listen to
you motherfuckers. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Kev's got the geo tracker on it. He can tell.
Bullshit. I know exactly who's listening.
We have a new show that we didn't mention last time, did we?
This Week Explained?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we mention them last time? This Week Explained.
Well, we're mentioning them now. They explain this week. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's what they do. They're a geopolitical show, which means politics around the world. And I think, it's above my fucking pay grade. And they're talking like all this, I do want to listen to, I want a political show out there to explain to people, the fucking idiots out there, of why Palestine and Israel don't like each other, or Hamas and Israel don't like each other, You know what I'm
Really?
saying? There's like a yeah, because a lot of people are just like, well, they want their it's way deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? It's way deeper than that. You should do that on Finding Your Way. That's we're going to tune into Finding Your Way on Thursday, and we're going to listen to the history of the Palestine-Israel conflict on Finding Your Way, because I don't know if you knew this, say Joe, but Finding Your Way is a political show now.
I did know that. They went
Politics
deep.
aside, there is actually a religious answer that's found in the Bible.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm tuning in on Thursday because I'm not listening to it now because the only fucking sport they play over there is kick somebody's head back and forth. So, you know, they behead somebody and they use it as a soccer ball, and then it gets Ted Lasso in there, and you know, now you're in this room, you know. So, anyhow, but yeah, I'm gonna tune into Finding Your Way and listen to that. So yeah, just gave me an idea. You know, and you
That's
could
awesome.
tune into today's
I
stupid.
wonder if I'll take you up on that idea.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
could
you'll
tune
have to tune in to find out.
Yeah, you could tune into today's stupid history minute and listen to the history of the fucking Happy Meal.
There you go.
You know. So anyhow, anything else? Yeah, a fucking hour and a half.
No, nothing
Yeah.
else.
Babes, you got what you got, babe?
I don't have anything.
No. Say, Joe, who you having on Nailed It on
We
Monday?
did a. Go ahead.
I don't know. I need to have another guest on. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Jay
we'll
Burke
find
was on
one.
his show on Monday. Mr.
What's
Jay
that?
Burke.
Yeah.
Jay Burke was on his Monday show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The With Jay
Yeah.
Burke show.
Yeah.
yeah,
He was with Jay Burke.
he was. I don't know. We'll have somebody else on. We'll find another one.
Okay. Well, I believe we lost all of our listeners about a half hour ago.
No, there's
Yeah,
still 6 people.
So, yeah. so,
There's still 6
but,
people on.
Hey, we appreciate you tuning in to us each and every Tuesday night, but really don't appreciate you not saying a fucking thing in the comments
You know,
section.
nobody said a
Don't
thing.
Yeah,
don't yell at them.
I'm not yelling. I'm just pointing out that
They
they,
may
don't
be
know how to
listening
type.
on
They don't
Twitter,
maybe don't know
and-
how to spell. Twitter, you can make a fucking comment.
No, I don't think you can.
Yo,
We
you
may have to look
can.
into that.
Trust
Oh,
me.
okay.
StreamYard sent out a thing, and
Okay.
it said you know that the X, you know, is able to
Okay.
comment now.
Well,
what I'm saying?
maybe there's
Because-
nothing comment worthy. So
It may be. Yeah,
All right,
it's because
that's
you
fine.
two are fucking arguing for a half hour on whether to pay fucking motherfuckers. Yeah. So,
all right.
so
Well,
anyhow, we're here every Tuesday night, and we're on your radio dial every Wednesday. This is Unfiltered Sports Weekly. So for St. Joe, for the Beeves, my name's Kev. We'll catch you guys next week.
Catch you on the flippity flop.